Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Kaiser here. Today's video is a breakdown of how I got to Dragon 2 finally. Now, showcase of my team, nothing really much changed about my Aquas, almost all the same. Just the Aqua with the Nemo tail has a better charm of power. But today's showcase is this beast. This beast is a pangolin beast. He's a bit stronger than my previous one. It has little piece for vulnerable, really simple, vulnerable for 4 turns when you attack. Goda, when you hit someone with Goda, it shuffles 1 void into the opponent's discard pile, and it gives you 1 confused card in your own discard pile. Larva. Larva is a new card. It's a 0 cost. You look at the top 2 cards of your draw pile. Whatever you don't like, you can discard it immediately, so you don't have to draw into it. But if you discard a skill card, you get an energy. Little Branch. Little Branch, if you hit someone, you get rage stacks based on how many living AXIEs alive. And since this guy is the frontline, he will always get 3 stacks minimum. And you enter Fury form at 10 stacks. Sometimes it happens, but it's quite rare. Ronin. Ronin deals a lot of damage the more energy you use before it. So usually this is the last card you want to use in a turn. And the usual Cottontail. Let's see the charms. The usual charms I put on my previous beast, I put on this. The charm of power is on the Ronin for extra damage. And I am currently at Dragon 2, which is a really big achievement for this team to get so far. Let's start with 1 game of live testing. With the Renew Rock Paper Scissors system, I will always choose to go second. And if they want to fight me, I'm going to use scissors. This time I win. Looks like we're going against an aggro team with a Pangolin Beast front, an Aqua mid line with Sea Slug, and a Bug back line. I'm going to go with the Gil, Babylonia, and the Goda. I chose to use Goda last because Goda has a very long animation time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see, I've counted up to almost 7, and it takes about 7 plus seconds for Goda's animation to go. What if you use Goda early in your first move? You're gonna waste 8 seconds, maybe 9. And if you don't have enough time, and the timer runs out, you might not have enough time to do any of your moves. So I'm just looking at my drop pile. Okay. For this situation, I could actually go with a risky fish, and then return some of my cards so that Ronin deals a lot of damage. I have 1 energy. What should I do? Okay, let me see what I get. Oh, it's a larva. If I get a skill card, I don't get a skill card. If I get a skill card, I could return that, and then Ronin will deal a lot of damage. Well, I'll just go with the Ronin. 65. It is 65 because my opponent has a pangolin. Not it will deal about 80 plus 85. I'm not used yet to the maths regarding it, so. But I just know that the more energy I use, the more painful it is. It looks like my opponent has an Innocent Lamb. And yeah, like always Sea Slug, or with a Bubble Paste on the Piranha, and with a really painful Thorny Caterpillar. Really painful. Hits like a truck. I'm gonna go with a Shoal Star, clear off the Pangolin, and try to build up my bubble stack. So when I hit, this time it's gonna be painful. If you notice, my opponent's actually Dragon 3 and I'm Dragon 2. Oh, 199! That's so much damage! Okay, I'm just gonna go with a Gill and a Goldfish. Let me see if I can clear and draw into a curse card. Make my draws better. Okay, revenge card, that's fine. I don't want to clump up my hand with so many curse cards or revenge cards. Now this opponent, the 1v1 is quite scary because every card he deals to me, most of them are debuffs. And I know this from the history that he only used 2 attack cards. What does this tell me? It means that he drew a Goda. He drew a Void on that turn. So this is my chance. I need to try my best to deal as much damage as possible to this guy. I guess not. I just have to pray and hope he doesn't have a Thorny Caterpillar, because it's a mistake. I shouldn't have used Risky Fish. If I didn't use Risky Fish, I wouldn't be in fear, so he wouldn't deal so much damage to me. Should have used Gill into a Risky Fish into a sword. Mistake. Oh, that was lucky. He didn't finish me off. Okay, a Shoal Star would have ended him, but I want to be extra safe, so I want to use my swords first. If there was a shield, if there was a stupid revenge card, then it won't trigger. Yeah, I would like to show you a replay of my team against a few teams which you might face in Dragon. So we'll go with the first one. This first replay is my team versus Poison. And if you've seen the gatekeeping video on Poison, you will know that now Poison teams are the gatekeepers of Dragon 1 to Challenger, and they're gonna be staying there and stopping any team which is not optimized to face against them. If you can see here, this team is really well optimized. Triple Gecko Eyes with Tiny Turtle and Gecko Eyes to cleanse it, as well as Wall Gecko with Gecko Mask. So this team can really dish out some powerful poison, at the same time survive against a lot of my attacks. So it looks like my opponent doesn't want to go with a Tiny Turtle, which I guess different players have different playstyles. Me too. I'm gonna go with a Showstar instead of a Ronin. A Showstar gives me a guaranteed kill. A Ronin, I'm not sure yet. I didn't do the math properly, and since he has Poison Touch, I might deal lesser damage. I don't know. Quite questionable also. I don't understand why would he use a Gila. Maybe he wants just to deal quick AoE damage. I don't know. In this case, you get to notice how powerful Little Branch is. One thing I looked down upon was at two costed cards that they're very clunky. You need 2 energy to use them, and if you cannot use them, they just take up space in your hand and they're quite annoying. I grown to actually like 2 costed cards because sometimes my hand size isn't that big. Therefore, since it's not that big, having a 2 costed card in my hand is as though it's like having 2 1 costed cards in my hand, 2 in 1 something. So it gives me the flexibility to return some cards, use some cards, and also the extra card in my hand to clear off, to discard and draw. You know, it's the little things which count. And it looks like my opponent is doing a lot of work right now. He's almost halfway there. But I drew a very lucky Showstar, which managed to kill him. Malediction is useless if I can get my Showstar online, and that's a good game. I really like the animations. Now there's an animation going back to the main menu from the lobby. Okay, anyways, let's look at this next replay. This is my team versus a Leafy, and if you notice in the arena now, there are lots of Leafy compositions. This team is a very aggressive team. Don't let the shield fool you. Don't let the pumpkin fool you. This team plans to load up on leaves, get them stacked up to maybe 5 leaves maximum, and then unload it in one single turn with a very explosive attack. Leafy is not to be underestimated. If you underestimate them, you're gonna be significantly surprised and terrified of them. So here I used the Risky Fish into a Little Branch. And there you get to notice one of the beauties of Little Branch. I used the Risky Fish, I used a Nemo, Cottontail, and then I used a Little Branch with just 3 cards. And this is definitely possible. It's definitely possible with only 3 cards. Something which 1 costed card could not. Here I wanted to get my Bubble Bomb online and ready, so next turn, if all of my AXIEs can unload the Bubble Bombs, it's gonna deal massive damage. And my goal is just to clear that Clover. That Clover is gonna give so much value to my opponent. If I don't clear it now, it's gonna come back and haunt me. So that is why I used the Showstar after the Babylon, because it's good sequencing. At the same time, I get to clear the Clover. And things are kinda looking good for me. Oh, Turnip. Turnip is really bad if I had a Mavis or a Robin or anything to summon. Comes in, could immediately just die. And it looks like my opponent is using a Pumpkin. The way I know, right now you're seeing it through a replay, but for me, in real time, when I see the opponent's entire team gain 1 leaf, then I know that they have used Pumpkin, because when I put my cursor over the AXIE, it says that his Pumpkin was enchanted with the charm of Leafy Pot. And leafy pot is if you use the skill, your entire team gains 1 life. So that is it is an obvious sign showing that yes, my opponent has used a pumpkin. And I can also confirm it by checking the history. One secret card being used. Oh, what could it be? It's definitely pumpkin. There's no other secret card he could use or possibly could think of using, unless it's a revenge card. But revenge cards do not give leaf. Even the shield ones, they don't give leaf. Wow, I got really lucky and couldn't finish me off even with a triple really loaded leafy. That's what, 60 damage per leaf? That's what, 180 damage for an attack? It's insane. Did I mention how much I love the animation going back to the main lobby? Gives me the old Disney vibes where a Disney character would like draw a Mickey Mouse symbol when you're going to the advertisement and then going back to the movie. Let me show you a game of my team versus a sustain team. A sustain team or a blood moon team is a team which tries to heal all the way till blood moon and securing the win if you cannot kill them. So my opponent's playing Ina and a plant midline and also a plant backline. So it's a double plant Ina team at Dragon Tree. And this is highly effective. If you have the exact same team, you can just use it right now and you're definitely getting to Dragon Tree because this team is so good, so powerful. The reason why I did that instead of using Risky Fish first is because I don't want to draw into any confused cards. I'm trying to take the advice I got from Elijah. He didn't advise me personally, but I saw in his YouTube video that when you're using double aqua, you don't want to simply use Risky Fish and get the confused. It's not worth the risk. It's really not worth it. So I'm trying to incorporate that into my strategy when I'm playing now. And it's doing quite well for me. I've improved. I went up to Dragon 2. So yeah, it's pretty good. Man, I hate mushrooms. I hate summons in general. Actually, this is considered one of my bad matchups. Sustain teams are the bane of my existence. This team and poison are considered my weakness actually. I have equal grounds against aggro teams. I have equal grounds against rage teams. Not really. If they get very lucky, I just outright lose. But to sustain teams and poison teams, sometimes I cannot break through the shield. I cannot bust through. And little P's have been helping me so much recently because the vulnerable helps me bite down that really big wall of shield. As you can see here, vulnerable into a guild. In the past, the shield wouldn't have broken and I would be like so frustrated. And in the replay here, you can see that he drew a void, right? For me, in real time, I cannot see that he drew a void, but I can notice the top cursor there showing how much energy he or she has. If it is not 3 and it's 2, then I know that he drew a void. That's the best way to tell. And that's the beauty about void in the first place. That is why I really appreciate beasts with Goda and Cottontail, especially now with Little P's help. Because in the past I never knew the usefulness of Goda. Now I see it, I'm like, wow, it's so good. One energy advantage could mean victory or defeat. That's how powerful Goda is. So for this case here, I chose to use Ronin last because it deals the most damage. As you can see, 100 damage is so good. Plus with the bubble bomb, that's 120 on a single card. That's cool. That's very nice. What my opponent's doing right now is trying to survive until Blood Moon, which is turn 17. Currently we're in turn 14, so I am doing quite good work of my opponent. So here you see me using a Babylonia into a guild, into a Ronin. Why wouldn't I just little branch into a Ronin? Because 3 single costed cards should deal more damage theoretically compared to a double cost and a single cost. Very specific situations would say otherwise. We are currently in Blood Moon. If you can see right now, ever since the new update, you can see how much damage Blood Moon will do to you. And I didn't really make a breakdown of the newest update because it's so minuscule. You can literally just read the Substack or read the Discord and you would just know what's going on, what are the changes. In essence, nothing much has changed. It's just the same thing, just with better UI, better rock, paper, scissors, and a better Blood Moon indicator. So it looks like all hope is lost, right? I cannot break through this guy's shield. Not really. My opponent is running out of resources. And as long as I can get his life down to a really nice level, Blood Moon can finish the job for me. So right now it's 50. Next one is 60. Back to me is 70. So if I can survive the 130 damage dealt to me, 60 from this turn, 70 from the next, I need to get my opponent's life to 80 or below for me to either win or force a draw. And because there's an indicator now, I'm very grateful to it. I don't have to count in my head how much damage will it deal. Okay, so now it's 70. So now I have to do that. I go with Risky Fish first because I was afraid that if I use Little Piece, he could have hit me with a reflect and I would have died. I'm not sure. I can't predict those reflects from the revenge type of reflex, which reflect 20 damage and whatnot. I guess that's it. Oh, really quickly, I want to show you that I actually crafted a Mystic Charm. I'm not going to show you any more crafts from now on. Just want to show you this one because this is the important one. Hopefully in 7 days I can mint it to sell for money. But yeah, that is it for today. If you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again soon. Take care.